MSNBC very clearly hates Bernie Sanders, and nothing makes that clearer than some of the commentary post-Democratic debate that was given by Steven Schmidt. Now, here's what he had to say about Bernie Sanders and the possibility of him winning the Democratic nomination.
I think that the Trump presidency is an emergency for the country. I think there is no higher issue than his removal from office, and that calls for a candidate who has the ability to assemble the broadest, widest possible political coalition that includes some Republicans, independents, Democrats, to win an election that will be the most consequential election I think this country has had since 1864, maybe the 1940 election, but one of the three most consequential elections we've ever seen. And I do think there is a danger when you look at some of the ideology that we've seen front and center in this field, is to remember that in America, a sociopath will beat a socialist, I think 7 days a week and twice on Sunday, and nobody should underestimate Donald Trump's ability to frame an argument, to demagogue an opponent.
So he thinks that someone like Bernie Sanders is very dangerous, as my dad would say. And it's funny because Steven Schmidt is well, first let me give you some background information, okay? He's an MSNBC contributor, but he actually took a break from MSNBC for about 8 months because he was advising Howard Schultz's possible third-party run.
So let's pause there. Look, we're gonna get into how he's a Republican and all the problems of him being on TV spewing this nonsense. But on Howard Schultz alone, so he was considering a third-party run, which endangered more than anything else in the world, Donald Trump getting elected. So if there was one person on the planet who should not talk about how important this election is and how we can't afford to lose it, it's Steve Schmidt, who was, for money, was preparing a run that could have cost the presidency to the Democrats and could have handed it back to Donald Trump. And he did it for his own personal gain. You're gonna talk to us about who we should pick as the Democratic nominee when you're a Republican who has run failed campaign after failed campaign, and you were just about to throw the entire country under the bus in what you say is the most consequential election of all time. And by the way, is there anybody else on MSNBC? Didn't anybody say, hey, Steve, I know you're our beloved colleague and we pay you a lot of money to spew this nonsense against Bernie Sanders, but weren't you just about to sabotage this election and hand it to Donald Trump?
Right. So the Howard Schultz thing obviously is frustrating, but what's even more frustrating is when you consider the fact that he has no business advising anyone on politics, much less analyzing politics, because he is the epitome of failing upward. Okay, so let me give you the laundry list of failures that he's been in. So he was, first of all, he is a Republican, let's keep it real. He was the communications and public affairs strategist for the George Bush campaign and also the John McCain campaign. Now, John McCain made a really bad decision in hiring Schmidt because Schmidt was the one who pushed aggressively and successfully for McCain to choose Sarah Palin as his running mate. That's who Steve Schmidt is.
Yeah, he's the genius who thought Sarah Palin nailed it. So two things about that. Number one, you would know a thing or two about picking a sociopath. So I guess you do think that America likes sociopaths, duly noted. By the way, they lost. Okay, the second thing is the incredible irony. I've said this many times. The only reason why Sarah Palin was ever popular, and she was in her home state at the time, is because she did the most socialist thing of any governor in my lifetime. She said, hey, the oil under Alaska is the Alaskan people's. And so for the oil companies, I'm now, on behalf of the government, seizing your assets and giving more of it to the people of Alaska. So the people of Alaska got checks from the oil companies because of that socialist move that Sarah Palin did. That's why at the time, she polled at 80%, okay? So ironically, Steve Schmidt's like, see, we picked her because she was the most socialist governor in America. That's why socialism can't win. No, the reason she didn't win because of schmucks like you is not because of that. You picked, she was popular because of that. She lost because she's an idiot like you.
Right, exactly, 100%. Besides which, how many people who, Schmidt thinks would be better suited to run against Trump have entered this election and are continuing to fail, right?
See,
so like how many of those people do we need to, like how much of a case study do you need? I mean, at this point, you have Bloomberg, you have Patrick Duvall, who by the way had to cancel a campaign event because only 2 people showed up. So is that the popularity that you're talking about? Is that the kind of person you think is gonna beat Donald Trump?
Look, can I just, the people are gonna think that this is egotistical of me. I swear to God, that's not the point. 600 people showed up to watch me in Des Moines, Iowa. For no reason, I wasn't running for anything. It was in the middle of the summer. I just said, hey guys, I got an important speech. 600 of you showed up. 2 people showed up for Deval Patrick, or we're gonna show up. 2 versus 600. Who the hell am I? I'm a nobody, right? So my point isn't, hey, I'm great. My point is, a progressive nobody can get 600 people to show up. The legendary establishment Deval Patrick, who's going to come in and save the day for the establishment, can't get more than 2 people to show up. So they are so unpopular. But what does MSNBC do? This is more of an MSNBC problem than a Schmidt problem, okay? They have proven losers throughout their entire lineup. Look, I'm trying to get, I want progressives on there so we can get our message out, and thank God they had Michael Moore on to say you're all idiots. We'll get to that later in the show, okay? But he's a celebrity. But do they have any regular people who are going, no, none of your facts are correct, and none of yours, and none of yours? No, who do they bring on? Claire McCaskill. She just lost her election, an incredibly winnable election. She lost to a Republican because she thought, oh, I'll be Republican light. The entire channel is filled with ex-Republicans or current Republicans.
Right.
So
the only qualification is, do they hate Bernie Sanders hard enough? Do they hate progressives hard enough? And if they do, you're qualified. It doesn't matter how many campaigns you worked on that were failures. It doesn't matter if you made the gargantuan mistake of involving Sarah Palin in a presidential election. It doesn't matter. As long as you despise progressives and you're willing to say the worst things about Bernie Sanders, including he would lose against a sociopath, then we're gonna go ahead and hire you.
Yeah.
You're perfect for our show.
And guys, for Christ's sake, any fact at all, right? So if you said, hey, look, Bernie Sanders is not polling well, and you had a series of polls, and by the way, when you look at the issues, it turns out the thing that people are against is Medicare for all. They find that to be too socialist, like Social Security. What? Social Security is really unpopular because it's socialist, and so is Medicare because it's socialist. Right, those are 2 most popular programs in America. And Medicare for all is unpopular. That's not true either. You can't say any of those things because they're all incredibly popular, right? And so all of the policies that Bernie's arguing for are popular. So you bring on a guy like Schmidt to just be like, hey, here's a beloved establishment Republican who is about to hand an election to Trump. So what do you think, Steve? Oh, you hate Bernie Sanders too? Yep. Oh my God, color me surprised. Hey, look at that. We're the liberal channel and we all hate Bernie Sanders. Okay, I mean, that is establishment 101.
Definitely.
It's gaslighting the whole country. Oh, no, you don't believe your lying eyes that he's the one honest politician who would clearly help you. No, believe us, we're the liberals. We're the progressives on MSNBC. I mean, we don't allow any progressives on air almost ever unless they're tiny little appearances as a celebrity, right? Okay, other than that, wall to wall, conservative Democrats, corporate Democrats, ex-Republicans and current Republicans, all telling you the same exact thing. Whatever you do not elect Bernie Sanders. He would actually help the American people. So that's what they're doing. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.